Now I'd like to ask Mr. Jorge Aroche to speak. Jorge is a clinical psychologist and the Chief Executive Officer of the New South Wales Service for the Treatment and Rehabilitation of Torture and Trauma Survivors, known as STARTS. He's led the organisation since 1997 through some of the most challenging times for the refugee services in Australia. He's helping STARTS grow, assuming a truly statewide significance and becoming a world leader in the field. He's also held a number of honorary positions in international humanitarian organisations, Australian government advisory bodies and NGO boards, and was the president of the International Rehabilitation Council for Torture Victims for 4 years. Mr. Aroche also leads an organisation which has produced some outstanding arts events over the last 10 years in contexts like the Sydney Biennale. So it is no surprise that Mr. Aroche has written a foreword to the book. What was surprising to me, and I only heard about this recently, is that he's also a potter. So he too understands the power of ceramic arts to heal and to really nourish people. So it's with great pleasure that I introduce Mr. Jorge Aroche.
Thank you, Sally, for that very generous introduction. I'd like to also start by acknowledging the traditional custodians of this land, and to thank you, Karen, for that welcome, and to also acknowledge the history of trauma of Aboriginal communities in Australia and their ongoing struggle to regain their rightful place in this land that was never ceded. So thank you. And this is a theme that runs throughout, and I must say that it's a privilege to be here with you today, to share a few words, and that goes on for the privilege of being asked to write that forward. I met Yuhana quite a few years ago now, and I remember being so impressed, not just by the clear commitment and love that you had for your craft, the craft that we shared, or not obviously Yuhana is a lot more accomplished than me in it, but also, you know, for the way that you understood the struggles and the history of the Mandian community. It's been a pleasure to work with the community, to be part of the healing journey all these years, and to see how the community has continued to evolve, has continued to develop different pathways towards healing, and different pathways to begin to make its mark in Australian society. And art is not only a pathway to healing, as Graham mentioned before, but it's also a pathway to becoming part of the fabric of a community. After all, the healing that we assist or try to assist refugee communities to undergo is in order to regain the capacity to fulfill the potential. And they got so much potential. One of the wonderful things about working with STARTS for more than 30 years now is to have witnessed, you know, that ongoing story, and to see now people, you know, that are really becoming not just part of the fabric of society, but, you know, some of the mainstays of that society. So the book is, I think, something that marks a tremendous accomplishment in terms of bringing all of that together. I've been impressed with, you know, the whole journey as I continue to hear, you know, how people were coming together and expressing different things, and then seeing some of the, you know, guitars and different crafts. And the way that's come together in the book is absolutely beautiful. But it's also, you know, an incredibly poignant example of, how art and healing and, the pride of a community for the history, not just the ancestral history, and of course the Mandeans have an incredible history, but also, the current history, the history of the struggles in Australia, of the successes, and the incredible hope that comes through so many of those times. It's a poignant tapestry of a whole lot of things coming together, and I think it's, I'm incredibly amazed by how you've been able to put it all together, Yuhana. So congratulations, and congratulations to you all, because I think we're all part of this in whatever ways, and particularly to those of you that have been part of those 100 stories that come together to really provide the canvas for, the many, many thousands and millions of stories of refugees around the world. Thank you.